Let's look at how to assist Pigeon, one of the most requested postures. So we'll see our students starting in their pigeon pose, a couple things needing adjusting. So we see there's space between her hip and the floor, and then the other leg is going out to the side. So we want to bring that back leg first so it's directly behind her left hip. And then we'll support underneath the right hip to bring the floor up to her hip. You can fold the blanket and slide it underneath the hip, or you can roll it up and slide it underneath both hips. Now, on first glance, it may seem to the student that hovering the hip in space might be better to help them increase their flexibility. However, this works against them as it feels unsettling for the body. So to have something for both hips to press into, or at least that outer hip, is very comforting and allows for even more freedom to let go and lengthen. Come behind her. We have the knee, I see, a little bit out to the side. We want that knee pointing straight in front of that right hip. I have one hand tracking downward on her sacrum, and then the other hand tucking the heel of my palm into her thigh, externally rotating to ground the leg. Then bringing the left hand behind her heart to see if she can soften toward the earth, and adjusting her arms. And then from here, I will move to the inside of her leg to bend the back knee. Now, if there's pain underneath their kneecap, it's smart to slide the quadricep down with the fingertips to go underneath of the kneecap to protect it before proceeding. And then I'm leaning into her leg to bend it further as I draw the hips backward towards me, tracking down on the sacrum again. And then gently release the leg back to the floor and rock it out. It feels nice after that intense stretch. From here, I'll come back around to the front of her to smooth down the arms, which feels nice, and releasing after this stretch. And finishing with a little Reiki, hand on the head and back, or behind the neck, gently, or back of the head. Now let's look at some common misperceptions. One thing we hear a lot in class is put your shin parallel to the top of the mat, but if your hips are not super flexible, that's going to compromise your knee joint. So we'll bring the foot back and not flex it as it'll sickle the ankle, which also compromises the knee joint. We'll point the foot, but flex just the toes to keep the foot active and press the outer foot into the ground. Squaring off her hips, we see that the thigh is turned out, so we internally rotate that femur bone. And then we see that the hips are now level, which lifts the left hip a little bit. So we'll pad that up with a blanket. The back toes, too, in the foot do not want to sickle. They want to point straight back. So definitely look over your shoulder to ensure that that foot is not turning inwards. Now we have her hips placed on the bolster. It's looking good. Her knee is pointed straight in front of her left hip. And then Rachel will come down into sleeping pigeon. Again, tracking on that sacrum. And I've stepped forward to protect my back a little bit. Good, sliding down the arms, seeing just a few different ways to do this here. And then sliding the quadricep underneath the knee. That's a good angle to see that. Holding the thigh down as we slowly bend the knee. Be ginger here. They might be super flexible in the hips, but the quadriceps might be very tight. So always treat every body like a new experience to discover. Grounding the left femur while using your right leg to hold the quadricep stretch in place. And then we'll look at a different stretch on this side since it's easier to see. Placing your forearm on their foot, getting a nice calf stretch while you do some compression on the hamstrings. As you release the leg down, notice that I don't do a closed fist on the calf, but just pressing down with the palm can be too sensitive if you use a closed fist. And you can also use the thumbs to compress. Final sweep down the leg to relax. Great work.